Hello, friends. You're watching English with D, the channel with no jargon, only useful information. Today's video is very important because in this video we will cover that part of IELTS where most of the students fail to score good bands, which decreases their overall bands as well, and that is writing. We interviewed several official IELTS examiners about why students do not score good bands in writing. They provided us the actual reasons behind low writing band score and how students can improve their score in writing. This entire video is based on this feedback from the official IELTS examiners. So let's get started. In this video, we will cover the following important aspects of task 1. First, how the official examiners evaluate your task 1. What are the common mistakes that lead to lower bands in writing? What is the right structure of task 1? How to write the perfect task 1, which will be explained with an example of bar graph later. And finally, how to make complex sentences, because complex sentences are must for good band score in writing. Task 1 is evaluated on the following 4 parameters, which are of equal weightage. First is task achievement. In this, the examiner checks whether you have understood the graph clearly or not, and whether you have covered the main or important points of the graph or not. The second parameter is coherence and cohesion. It means that your task should be in order and organized. The third parameter is lexical resources. It simply means the kind of vocabulary you have used in the task. Your vocabulary should have variety and free of any spelling mistakes. The last parameter is grammatical range and accuracy. As the name suggests, it checks your grammatical accuracy. Now we will discuss some of the very common mistakes that lead to lower bands in writing. The biggest mistake that students make in task 1 is to write conclusion or give their own opinion on the data given in the graph. Remember, task 1 is about explaining the chart, so never give meaning to data. It is simply data and you have to present it the way it is. Next common mistake is to write improper overall. We will come back to this in the later part of this video. Another mistake which many students make is to interpret numbers in the wrong way, especially percentages. For this, we have prepared a separate video. You can check the link in the description of that video. The next mistake is something with which students make the task complicated for themselves, and that is trying to cover everything in their task. For example, if data is given for 4 years, then trying to write about all 4 years, which is a wrong approach. This also leads to the problem of time management. The next mistake is to write your task in a disorganized manner. This is where the checking parameter coherence and cohesion is evaluated by the examiner. Like task 2, in task 1, Also, it is very important to write the correct introduction. And by correct introduction, we mean that it should include all the key parts of the actual task statement. And never start your introduction with the chart given below, because there is no chart on the answer sheet for the examiner to see. The next thing is not actually a mistake, but it does reduce your writing band score, and that is writing very simple and short sentences. Your sentences might be grammatically correct, but simple and short sentences would not get you band score more than 6 in writing. And the last mistake which nobody should make is to not meet the word limit. The ideal word range for task 1 is 170 to 200 words. Now, let's discuss what is the right structure for writing task 1. An ideal task 1 should have 4 parts. First is obviously introduction. In introduction, you just have to rephrase the task statement, but you have to make sure that you do not use words from the statement. Write the statement in your own words, keeping the meaning same. The next part is overall. A good overall should capture the larger trends highlighted in the graph. Do not use numbers in overall, and do not cover individual data points for years. The next two parts are the body paragraphs. In these paragraphs, you have to capture the key points of the graph. Remember, do not try to explain the trend in the graph. Write what is shown in the graph and what is the trend. Generally, there are only 3 trends: increase, decrease, or no change. That is all. Now, let's have a look at the example which will make the points discussed earlier more clear to you. The example here is a vertical bar graph. Let's first look at the introduction. Notice that in the introduction, we have covered all the key points of the question statement. The chart type, which is a bar graph, what is measured in the graph, that is GDP growth rate, for what the data is given, that is countries, and finally duration of the data, which is in years. Also notice that we have replaced all the keywords from the task statement in our introduction. So this is how you should also write your introduction for task 1. Now comes the next important part, and that is overall. Please watch and learn very carefully how we have written our overall for this graph. We have covered the larger trend for all the 3 countries, and we have not used any numbers to depict the trend. This is how you should also write your overall. Make sure that you have covered all the objects for which data is given, which is countries in this case. So we have written the larger trend in GDP growth rate for all the 3 countries in our overall. Now let's look at the body paragraphs. Notice very carefully the kind of words we have used with numbers, where the data points are not an exact number and is just more than or less than the number given on the vertical axis. Now, see the range and variety of words we have used to explain the trends. You should also use such words for the data points and trends in graphs to make your writing more impressive. Finally, let's show you the example of complex sentences we have used in our writing. Use words such as while, which, however, therefore, and to make your sentences long and complex. But remember, complex sentence does not simply mean a long sentence. A long sentence with no meaning will actually lower your band score. So, you have to make sure that your sentence is in proper order and making sense. So guys, this is the complete feedback which we took from official IELTS examiners on how to score 8 bands in IELTS writing, and we have tried to make it as simple and elaborate for you as possible. If you're a new viewer, then you must subscribe to our channel for more such informative lessons on how to score 8 bands in IELTS. We are sure that after watching this video, your writing skills will definitely improve and you will be able to score high bands in writing now. Thanks for watching.